I am happy to help people get up to speed.
And we are so grateful to have you. I'll kick us off here. I just know that there's going to be some more, but we'll just I want to give everyone enough time to join us. I'll give one more minute, and then we'll get started officially. We're recording now. I will share with you that if you'd prefer to keep your cameras off, that's completely okay. Um, I ask that you keep your mics muted just in case you've got barking dogs or barking neighbors or to keep the distractions down. But at any time, you can unmic and ask a question. You don't have to wait to the end. And we love taking the live questions and things that just come in your brain, like just or in your heart. Just get them out. Don't you don't have to hang on to them. And then and we love that. And then we'll also have I'll be monitoring if I can find it over here the chat, and you can also use the chat. There it is to ask questions there, and you can um, just drop them in there if you'd like, and then we'll get to those um, throughout the show. So that being said, I want to welcome everyone to another edition of WSN Men Live, Widower Support Network. It's probably easier to say that. I never get WSN quite rolling off my tongue the way I want it. But I'm Chris Bentley. I'm the managing director of WSN. And I am so grateful that you've joined us here tonight, taking time out of your day, spend time with us. And the purpose is to help you wherever you are in your journey, and you wouldn't be here if you had it all figured out. You wouldn't be a member. And so we're so grateful that you're here and taking advantage of the programming that we provide for you every month. And so thanks for that. Feel free, as I again, to submit questions at any time. We love that. Um, let's see. I think that's about all the housekeeping tips. We will be recording. I guess we are recording, as I just said, and we will make that recording available to you. So if you've got to drop off early for any reason, or whatever, we will be putting that recording out tomorrow as well. So, and you can always find those recordings on the website. So with that, grab my other note over here. I just want to uh, say that our guest tonight has made several appearances since the beginning of the year. I haven't counted them up, but it's at least six, and this is probably the seventh. And so, Christine Baumgartner, she is a dating and relationship expert who's been studying relationships for over 30 years, coaching singles for 15 years. She has quite a story, which makes her quite a wonderful woman. And it's just wonderful that she joins us every month to help you guys out. She works with singles to help them to tackle what's keeping love away and finally attract the committed, loving relationship that they desire and deserve. She's the author of the book, The Perfect Catch: Learn How to Be One and How to Attract One, and co-hosts of weekly podcasts. And we put those podcasts out on Facebook. As members, you have free, complete access to the Facebook. So catch those podcasts. They are quite interesting. I'm the one who puts them out there, and so I take a listen, and I'm like, these are really really good stuff, and it's all free, right? It's there for you to use. So without further ado, I am going to pass the microphone to Christine.
Hi, and I'm also widowed, so I'm walking in your same shoes. I'm back dating again, just like you. I had a pretty short marriage when my husband died suddenly, but I sure do. Most of the widowed people that I coach were married a lot longer than me. So what's really a challenge is that when you were dating before, it couldn't be more different than now because I met my husband, my late husband, in 2005, and we got married in 2007, and he died in 2012. And even in that short of a time, the dating climate was so different. So the people that were married for 20, 30, 40 plus years, it's so different now. And you really can't use any of the same rules or methods, sadly. I mean, certainly being a gentleman and, you know, being available and all of that is so how you have always been and would like to still be, but the methodology using online dating and also just to go meet women in real life, that's the new acronym, has really been a challenge. And I now have more men than women clients at the moment. In the last 6 months, it's just kind of flopped. And I think because you guys really like knowing how to do stuff, women, we're more about the trial and error in public, where you'd like to do the trial and error a little more privately and then go out knowing a little bit more than you did before. At least that's what I get told a lot. So they like practicing with me. So the other thing I wanted to mention is on my website, besides that, Barry and are almost at 300 podcasts. Plus, there's also some that I did on my own and also some that I did with a fellow widower for a while. I also have a free book at the very top of my homepage at theperfectcatch.com. There's a book that's free. You can download it. I wrote a dating column for 10 years, and my sister-in-law, who's an editor, said, "Oh, you should make a book out of it." Well, you should make a book out of it because I don't know how to do that. And she did. And so you can download that. You can join my mailing list, which would get you the podcast every week in your mailbox. And you can also look at all my social media that's at the bottom. And the YouTube is the one where all those almost 300 podcasts are located as well. You can look at the different subjects. You can also listen on Spotify or Apple if you just want to cart us around and listen rather than watching the parade of hats and Barry's red glasses. Because I have a co-host that's a guy that's not a widower, because we're really giving across the board dating advice, not just widow advice. But I do that here. You can also send me an email at christina@theperfectcatch.com. And I also offer a free conversation with me. If you have something more particular that you want to talk about, something that you want to just have a question or you want to have a more private conversation, you can schedule that through my website as well. And it's complimentary. I don't charge for it. If you just want some information, I'm happy to do that. If you want to talk to me further after that, I have that available too. So that's my commercial, my free commercial about free stuff.
And I'll just share that we'll put that screen up with all that information on at the end of the program.
Perfect. So I'm always open to hearing where you are and what your questions are, your concerns, if you've even thought about dating. One of the questions I get asked a lot from widowed people is, how will I know when I'm ready? That's the question I get asked frequently, both men and women. And I'm really pleased that you asked that question, because often people do go out and do more than they really are ready for, and they don't really know it until they're in the middle of it, and maybe one or two hearts get broken in the meantime. So the thing I suggest, if you are just thinking about it or just beginning, is to go join something that you already like doing or would like learn to do. An activity, dancing lessons, cooking lessons, depending on where the chores that you and your spouse shared. Sometimes the men did barbecuing and not cooking, and you don't know how to cook in the kitchen. And it's a really good skill to learn. We ladies kind of like it if you know your way around the kitchen a little bit. And you will meet ladies at a cooking class. And you will also get to touch women when you're dancing at a dancing class, appropriately. But if you're missing some of that, having a conversation with a woman, it's a very safe way to do that. And you can see, how does that feel? How does that seem? Is that because you've had a conversation across the breakfast table with somebody else for a very long time? So how does it feel to even have a conversation with a new woman? What do you think about it? How does your mind work around it? How does your body feel about it? To really assess when you're walking in a walking group or playing pickleball or going to the movies. There's lots of meetup groups that do all those kinds of things. There's other kind of classes you can take. You can go volunteer places, and just make it a point to look for maybe some male friends if you don't have enough of them right now, and also just to chat with the women. It's really kind of interesting how you could have I'm going to assure you, you can have the same conversation with 10 women. You could ask all 10 women the same question, and you might get at least 6 different answers to your question. So it's really, I know, isn't that funny? But it's who we are. And it also depends on how we're feeling at the moment and what's going on in our lives. Because you had one of us in your life for a long time, and maybe you even little ones, girls that showed up as daughters. And one of the ways I explain it to men, because you're like, why? First, why are your emotions the center all the time? And why do they change all the time? So the visual I like giving men, because you guys like visuals, is picture between our chin and our belly button is a stack of pancakes. And each of those pancakes represent an emotion. And we feel all the time about everything, a whole bunch of emotions all the time about everything. It's a hormonal thing. And it's whoever made us, that manufacturer installation person that decided to give us the two X's and you the Y. This is how we're made. So our emotions really are the center of us. They take up the whole center part of our body. And what's really nice is the sense of humor that God had when he made you guys, that no matter what we do, almost anything, you think still like us and you still want us around and you still think we smell good and you like making us smile and you like making us happy. So we can do all these very unusual, unguy things. And you say, yeah, but I still like you and I still want to have be in bed with you and I want to have dinner with you. So to just know that's why, because there's whole bunches of emotions going on all the time about us. So which is why 10 women could give you six different answers depending on what their pancakes are doing at the time. And a lot of it has nothing to do with you. It's really hard not to take it personally, but I'm going to tell you a lot of it has nothing to do with you, especially if it's somebody that you are just meeting. So just going, oh, well, let me find out even more about why she would give such a different answer. So if you're listening to learn and you ask a couple, well, tell me more about that. We love that question. We love being at, tell me more about that. Because it's like, wouldn't you like that? Because wow, that seems like you're really interested in learning more about us. We'd be interested in learning more about you. And you would keep hearing what's important to her and why she gave you that answer. Because generally, when we're listening, we listen to respond. What does it have to do with me? And why would they tell me that? And what do I think about that? And what should I say about that? Where if you can switch your mind even just for a couple of minutes when somebody's speaking to you, that you would say, oh, what is it that they care about? Why are they saying these words? So I would tell you the reason I'm saying these words is because I want to teach you, if you don't already know, how to look at this interesting creature that us two X people are in maybe a little different way, even though you were with somebody for a really long time. Because what happens then is you get a second language. You've kind of seen this thing happen so often, you know what it means. But now, if you're going to be spending some time with some new two X people, this is how to learn about that individual X person. I hope that that's helpful.
Christine, I can't get this idea of a woman with pancakes between her chin and her waist. But then I was thinking, nothing like a woman covered in syrup and butter. know, that that could be really fun.
I agree
Uh,
100%.
Anyway, thanks for that visual. We do like visuals because it sure makes us chuckle.
Yes. And it helps explain that we're not men with less hair and muscles on our body. Because we women think that you're just misbehaving women that have more muscles and hair on your body. But you're not. You're delightful men who are doing delightful men things. But we don't know that. So I spend just as much time teaching women how to understand why you're the way you are and that you're doing the best you can and that you're generally not misbehaving. We're just misunderstanding each other a lot. And the thing, because I think there's some new faces here, so just know Christine really likes and enjoys and is comfortable talking about sex. So the whole syrup butter thing sounds fun to me. You would just need to put down a waterproof sheet.
Yes,
But yeah, I think food
couple.
play is
Yeah.
great fun. So I'm open to having those kind of conversations too. I was raised by a mother that would talk about sex at the dinner table. So all my friends wanted to come and ask my mom questions because nobody talked about it at their house. And my mom only talked about it at our house. So there you go.
That's funny. No, you're not shy to talk about that. I think guys are more shy to talk about it. Certainly with the opposite sex. I think a bunch of guys get together, we might joke about it, but that's when we were younger. I don't even think we talk about it much when you know.
No.
So,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
honored that you all tell me I'm a safe place to land for anything you know that you need to talk about, that I'm open to listening to it and hearing the angst that you have about any of it, asking somebody out, even does this feel disloyal to want to be with somebody else after I was married to my wife for so long? And that it's really okay to move on, to move forward, not move on. You'll always love her, but it's okay to move forward. So yeah, one of the things I'd love to know is, has anybody ventured out? Have you dated anybody? Are you currently seeing somebody? Have you gone out with anybody once? What happened?
We'll see if
No,
willing to share. They may be typing.
everybody's still at the very beginning.
They're, they're still thinking about the pancakes.
I know.
Um, well,
What
I
was
think,
what was the question again? I'm sorry.
If you've gone out with anybody once,
yeah, is anybody dating? Want to talk about it? Did it, did it work? Did it not work? How'd it go?
okay.
All said no.
Okay. So then,
Yeah,
is it your preference that I talk about how to get started?
might be a good place to start. Because that's a
I
big
would love
step, right? That's a big leap. 2 years. Yeah,
2 years.
that's a big leap,
Yeah.
right? Leap of faith and kinds of leaps.
Yes, I'm dating. Okay.
Stating. Bill,
I've been
and
seeing a
seeing a person
person.
from church, I think it ended.
Oh, and how long?
Guys, this just helps us kind of give us an idea where we should put our focus tonight because we can talk about anything,
Yeah.
but
And
this
this
will
thing
get
can
it
talk for
narrowed down
hours,
to what's important to you.
but I know you have a limited time here, so I want to make sure I give each person as much as I can give you, and then we can certainly talk offline if you like. About a year. How do I start? Okay. So, so it might be faster to do so Scott, that's been dating a year. How's it going? What's good? What's a challenge?
Want me to type it or say it?
Say it would be perfect
You,
right now.
you, yeah,
That's a lot easier than typing it.
of
I like
course.
it too.
Um, so it was certainly awkward at first, and but I've been dating one person now for 6 months, but I'm not at all sure that I'm ready to settle down or even talk about the future. And I'm wondering whether that's normal. I'm just seeing this day to day. And it seems different than when I was in my 30s because I'm trying to, then I'm looking to start a family or something. Now it's like I don't even know what I'm doing. Why am I doing this other than wanting someone in my life if I don't know if I'm able to think about a future.
Thanks, Scott.
So
That's
that's your whole, I want to just make
that.
sure that was your
Yeah, that's
your
that's
question. And I want
I
to
think
start with
that's my question. Yeah.
yeah.
perfect. And I'm going to start with you because the people that want to get started will see this is what happens along the way. And then I'll go back. I promise I will answer the how to get started. So the reason I named my company and my book The Perfect Catch, because first we have to figure out who we are today, just today. Who are we now? And what kinds of things are important to me today? Always, no matter where you are in your life and what's come before, because you think of where you were then, the chronological age you were when you met your late wife, and all the things that happened while you were married, lots. And not only did you get chronologically older, but you had all these things happen. Had kids, jobs, finances, mood, whatever, all the things, ups and downs, ups and downs. And now the love of your life dies. Huge change inside of you. Huge. Biggest change possible, maybe besides having a child die. So who are you now? So one of the things that I work with my clients is to get really clear about what works for you in your life now from all sorts of vantage points. What things do you like doing by yourself? What kinds of things would you like a companion for? And how much time would you like to spend together? And what kinds of things would you like to spend the time doing? And this is just to decide today, because once you start doing it, you might need to go, oh, well, now that I did that, I know I still want that, but now I want this more or this instead. But if you're going to drive from wherever you are to a whole nother state, you need a roadmap initially. This is how I'm going to get from here to there. I would need to stop about this many times and stay at this kind of place and get gas this often. But then you're like, oh my gosh, look at this scenic thing. I want to go off and do that along the way. But you need to have a plan from where you're starting. And it's the exact same way. I call it preparing a roadmap in your dating life. So if you acknowledge where you are and what you know for sure, and then there's all these things you don't know yet that you're going to learn along the way. So when you say companionship, even in the dictionary, if you look up that word, there's a bunch of different definitions. So we need to have our definition. So that's what I help people do, is to really refine today, not 2 weeks from now or 5 years from now. What is it today? What does that actually mean to you? And what kind of person would be that, or more than one person? And what kind of things would you be doing about? Things would you talk about? What kinds of person would they be in their temperament and their personality? Where we just think, oh, we're just going to know. But we don't just know. And so learning how to boil it down to something that's in writing, that sounds very unromantic to have a checklist, but it keeps you from getting your heart broken. And it keeps you asking I'm curious questions about the other person to see what they are, who they are. And it helps you create comments about, this is who I am. What do you think? Because we need to be transparent about little bits of us along the way and see what they think about that. And then they need to be transparent about little things along the way. And do we like that? Does that still work for us with every time we're together? And nobody has these conversations generally unless they talk to me, because they're all kind of surprised that I suggest this. But then when they start having these conversations, it goes so much better because you're not so much up in the air. And
Well,
what
I think I've figured out, it's taken a while, but I figured out the kinds of things I like to do,
good.
at least some of them.
Mhm.
And the person who I'm dating does enjoy doing many of the same things I do.
Mhm.
But then, I think, she's hinting, well, maybe we should, um, you know, move in together or something. And that's where it's like, whoa, hold on here. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be ready for that. So, like, is that normal?
Sure. There's nothing that you have said that's not normal. It just might not be you. It might turn out that you're not her person, but we don't know that until you say out loud, this is where I see myself today. And this is where I see myself for the near foreseeable future. I'm enjoying this. I want to keep doing this, but I'm not sure I'm going to want any more with anybody. What do you think? And she gets to say, yeah, that's terrible, or yeah, I'm okay waiting. Because one of the things about us women, way back from cave time, the only way we survived was to be connected to a guy because you were bigger and stronger than us, and we were the reason that we weren't going to die. So our lizard brain is still very alive and well. I talked to women that run companies, CFOs, super successful women. They still have this lizard brain that needs to feel connected in some way because we think we're going to die. Our lizard brain does. So her wanting to be connected is really normal. And you not knowing if you want to be connected now or ever is really normal because you don't need the safety thing the same way we do. So it's very important as people are going along and getting to know each other. And you could still do it at this moment. I'd be happy to help you if you want to just take advantage of the free call, help you create your side of the conversation with her. And I know the kind of things that women generally listen to the best to say, I really appreciate that this is where you are and this is where I am. And to have a really open conversation all along the way, and certainly now. It's really important now that she has put her hand up saying, this is what I'd like, that you could say, this isn't what I'm into right now, but not like that. But it's okay to say that. It's really okay, but it's very important to say that because I know you don't intend to, but if you don't say where you are really, it's kind of leading her on, and you wouldn't do that because you're an honorable man. But you don't know what else to do. So I'm happy to teach you what else to do that will keep you with your honor because you don't want to hurt her. You don't want to upset her. You probably like her not to leave, but she needs to have all the evidence in front of her to decide if she can stay with this or not, as you would want it. If she's only wants to be with you if she can move in, it doesn't make her person, your person either.
Thank
So the
you.
only way to do this is to, from the beginning, for the people that are considering dating, is to slowly start talking about the things that are part of you. And sometimes you don't even know till somebody brings it up and you're like, well, yeah, that really isn't me. So how do I say that in the best way possible? So did I sort of kind of answer your question, Scott, about that particular thing, or
I
did
think
you
so,
need
yeah.
more?
No, I think you answered it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. But it's very normal for us women, the majority of us. There's women that don't want a relationship at all for a variety of pretty negative reasons about men who wouldn't ever say that to you. But a woman who's secure, sometimes they can be needy, but if it's a really secure woman that wants to be in a committed relationship with a man, that's pretty normal. It's it's who we are. It's who we've always been. Even if we're not building a family, even if we're not building a home, we like the security. And men, when they want that too, are very interested in the security of having somebody to protect and provide. You don't need the same kind of security we do, but you like the connection of taking care of somebody, of knowing they depend on you, that you get to open those jars that we can't, that you get to rub our back or our feet when we come home at the end of the day, that you get to have us dress up pretty and you take us out to dinner. There's so many lovely things that your masculine energy brings to us. I don't get the women who say, I don't need a man, I might want one. I'm like, I so know the reasons I need a man. I loved being married. I've been married twice. I got married and divorced when I was very young, and then I got married, and sadly, that one died. But I liked it. I liked having a husband around, and I am absolutely looking forward to doing that again. So both of you are being very normal. Everything you're both doing sounds super normal to me. It's just you need to have a more open conversation about it. And I'd be happy to help you do that so that you can say it in the nicest, most honorable way.
And Christine, that doesn't mean that it's like not now, never. It means he's still figuring it out. Scott's still figuring it out. He's not really sure, right? We heard him say. And so it's perfectly okay to say, this is where I am now. It's a snapshot in time, and continue to date this person. If you're enjoying everything else about it, you're just not ready to say, I'm ready to commit to have you move in. And I think that's, to your point, it's a snapshot in time, and that relationship has to continue to grow and mature before Scott, a light bulb may go on and go, that's exactly what I want. But that may not happen right now. It's just going to happen later. So,
Right, and I don't know, to what extent it's because my wife passed away. I don't know to what extent that is making me more reluctant, or because, I can have a great time with her on Saturday, and then on Sunday, it's like, okay, I want to do my own stuff on Sunday. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's really going on, but anyway.
all very normal, right? All very normal.
So normal.
Saturday
And
to
it's
Sunday.
I
Yeah.
hear it all the time. One of the things I know is men often, you're more the all you can eat buffet. You get so filled up with this. And it's not that you won't want more later, but you're all full and you're going to go do some of your other things. You're going to go do your hobbies. You're going to go watch a sporting thing. It's normal. And I teach this to women all the time because we are the strolling buffet. We like a little now, we like a little later. Like there was a couple in their 90s, and the woman was complaining to the therapist that he never said, I love you. And he's very seriously and not with any malice at all said, I told you I loved you the day that we got married, and I would tell you differently if I changed my mind. But we like the little bits of now and then. So if you've had this conversation with us and we honestly say, gosh, oh, you need a day off from me. And it's not me, it's that you need a day off. Okay. But then the next day, would you send me a text to just so I'd feel connected again? Because remember, it's about the connection thing. And would that be okay with you or not? So her wanting more is normal. You needing a little less is normal. What my suggestion is that the two of you need to say to yourself, oh, this is who I am. Wow, sounds normal. But I need to tell you this is who I am. And say, is that all right with you? Can you still be with somebody that is that way or not for the next week? We're just talking about the next week right now. Is that okay with you for the next week? Sure. Okay. But people don't know to talk that way. It just goes along until something blows up.
Mhm.
And I do get couples that come to me when things have blown up, and often I can help fix it. But it's often from something that they didn't know that they needed to talk about ahead of time, that could have been so much smaller ahead of time.
You know that what you just said there, Christine, like they didn't know. It's got to be harder for like Scott, a widower, dating, and I don't know, he didn't say, but dating someone who hasn't had that experience,
Yes.
a non-widow, right? That's got to be really tough, no matter who the party, it could be the other way, a widow and a widower. But it's got to be hard because you just don't understand. Like Saturday to Sunday, it's so different. It's like, wait, I don't get it. It's like, well, because I just lost my the love of my life. I'm still working through this, and that's kind of a foreign concept, perhaps to someone that hasn't had that same experience. So I'm sure you run into that where it goes wrong because there's just a lack of understanding of what really happened with this widow or widower.
So I will say that wanting time off for men in general, the masculine in general, women that are more in their masculine need it too, or introverts. It's very normal to need a break, period. No matter if you're madly in love with somebody. I don't know what kind of pace you did with your late wife, and maybe you didn't need it, or maybe you just worked it out. But the other thing is the two widower sites that I'm part of as a advice person, since I'm not a widower, I get lots of emails from women, divorced women who are dating widowers who have lots of questions about that. He still has her pictures up. He gets sad on her birthday. Does that mean he's still in love with her and he's not moved on? And does he really have room in his heart for me? And I have lots of conversations with them about that. None of that's true. But both sides need to have done their own personal work. I mean, we as widowed people need to heal in a place where we can put our loved one in a very special place in our heart and seal it up and leave them there so that nobody will ever touch it. It'll stay there in our heart forever, but the rest of our heart could be available to fall in love with somebody else. And we need to be okay with having both things. It is the thing I say, if you have more than one child, you probably, hopefully love both of them. So you could really love more than one woman. I've now had two people that I've coached that have been widowed twice and are now, each of them individually, are married to a third person. So they've now loved madly three people, madly. So to know it's possible, but both sides need to do their own personal work, which I'm happy to help people do, to make sure that you're ready to be with this kind of a person that's had this kind of an experience. And can you be okay enough with it? And I have a couple of the divorced women who come back semi regularly with some new thing, just talk me off the cliff. just talk me off the cliff because they adore these men and the men adore them and the men want to spend the rest of their life with them. Most people don't get married at this age because of financial reasons. But the women just know to call me when they're starting to get all jacked up about this. And then I explain and they go, okay, and they go on and they're fine. I don't have too many men who have this issue, but you can have an issue about the divorced person and what are they still so mad at them and the kids, and there's all that. The whole step thing is a whole challenge, but it's all so normal. And the hardest thing for us human beings is to admit, oh, I didn't know that, because there's so much we don't know. And we need to get a pass for that. Because if you don't know, you can't do anything about it. But when you now go, oh crap, look what happened. I didn't know that. How do I not have that happen again? That's what I help with. Or maybe I can tell you something ahead of time so that you're like, I never thought about that and I didn't have to step in it first to learn it. But Maya Angelou said that we did best what we knew then. That's all we can do is what we know. But now that we've learned better, we can do better. So that's my goal, is just keep teaching a little bit more so that you can do a little bit better every time for yourself first. You have to watch out for yourself first. And then the kindness that you do along with the people that you're thinking about spending time with. That's all we can do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here in these human bodies if we didn't make all these sorts of mistakes and frailties. I remember this woman was interviewed. I think she was like 93. And they said, so what do you think's kept you with a good attitude? She says, well, I decided that I really needed to learn a lot of lessons. I just decided to get them sooner. And I thought that was a really great philosophy. Just get the lesson a little sooner before you have to make it 12 times. I would like not to keep making the same mistake 12 times. I'd like to make it one, maybe two, and then I'm not going to do that same mistake again. I'll find another one to do. And then forgive ourselves. But the more we get clear about who we are and what we need and want, that is the reason I came with my company, that you learn to be the perfect catch, then you'll attract them, because then you'll tell them, this is who I am. This is what makes me tick. What do you think? Does that work for you? And tell me about you, and I'll see if it works for me. We don't have those conversations. Oh yeah, we both like Mel Brooks movies and we like Chinese food. That's not how you handle your finances and your living arrangement. Are you a grouch in the morning? Do you stay up till 3 o'clock in the night? I mean, there's all these subjects that people don't talk about that I bring up to make sure, tell me about you, and now go tell the other person and find out about them in all these areas. And they can be such fun conversations. Such fun conversations about finding out how other people do the same thing. It's amazing how people can do this same thing so differently. Because I talk to people all day long every day, and I'm always learning how they're doing things differently. It's fascinating. Sometimes I go, wow, I never thought about that. I'd do that, or I would never do it that way, but I can sure see why it works for you. But I could not be with somebody who does that. That wouldn't work for me. But you be you. I'm sure you'll find somebody that thinks that's lovely. But you need to acknowledge it first, say it second, and then wait, see what the other person says, and then ask them the same question. And then you don't get to a place where huge feelings get hurt too often. So you've heard a little bit about how to get started. You go, oh, so Scott, was that sort of complete for now? Okay, good.
We like thumbs up.
I
Christine,
like
going back, maybe you were going to go in a different direction, but I kind of want to get back to Dolph, because even before you get started, it's like, do I want to get started?
Yeah.
That's a really big question that Dolph asked there. How would you speak to his question? Do I want to be alone for the rest of my life? Like, I don't know if, I want to get started. Maybe I don't.
So
How do you talk
you
to
don't
that?
you don't even think about dating, because dating does not meeting the very first time somebody. Dating means, as Scott has now been seeing one person pretty regularly for a while. That is what the definition in my world is of dating. My goal, especially for men, is to get out and do things where you're going to meet new people, get some new inspiration, get some new energy, new blood, go give back, because your protect and provide person is gone. And it is what gets men up in the morning. It is what makes you tick. You like, when the procreate, which was the first thing, that was put in your Y chromosome is gone. Generally, you're probably not interested in doing that right now. But the protect and the provide, you need this. It's what keeps your buoy floating upright that got completely submerged when your spouse died. So to find places that you feel needed and wanted, and that your gifts are appreciated, that you would go be a mentor or go volunteer someplace at someplace like Habitats of Humanity if you're the kind of person that likes building, or you like teaching stuff, or you like being a docent at a theater, or you like working with kids or animals. Do that first to see how you're going to do as your new person. Because remember, now you're this very different person. You've brought a lot of your same things that you were born with, the things that you learned when you were a kid that you like, keep those. But who you are now as a widower, without this spouse that depended on all the things that you did every day and all the things that you got to get from them, even just the little pat on the butt when you were walking through the kitchen, or the good morning kiss, or the smell of their perfume in the bathroom because they just left. You don't have any of that. So you need to figure out a way to still feel like there's a reason for you to get up every morning. So to go find something, more than one something's even better. And while you're there doing this thing that you would love to learn more about, or you already are good at, then just start talking to the people that are there. What made them come there? What was part of their giving heart that they're here volunteering? What other things do they participate in? Listening to learn. Because I'll tell you, when I ask people that, there's all sorts of stuff. I would never go do the things they're doing, but I'm fascinated that they're doing it. And the more I hear about it, the more I wouldn't want to do it. But I'm really fascinated listening. And there's been a few things when they've mentioned, I'm like, I never thought about that. I would go do that. Could I go with you? So that you start making friendship. You start getting some of the companionship, not the female wifey person, but the companionship that you're missing and that you're desiring. So you need to find a place where you feel like you're providing something and you're making new friends and acquaintances to go have coffee with, go to a car show, go to a book event, whatever your thing is that you already are interested in, or you're like, I never thought about that. I want to go learn more about that. Go take a class. If any of you live near a university, I live really near one, and there's a thing called OLLI, OLLI, which I never remembered the initials stand for. And it's an extended classes for people generally that are retired. And there's over 400 classes that you can take. My neighbor met her fiance there when she went to go take a computer class because he was the teacher. There's a woman that teaches flash mob classes. They go out to senior centers and they go out to all sorts of crazy places and do these flash mob dances. So if you're at all near a university, they have so many huge variety of things to take. And there will be people there in your age group, maybe with some similar backgrounds, maybe really different backgrounds, that get you out so that you now talk to strangers. And you see, how was that talking to another woman? Yeah, I thought she was really cute and she got me kind of stirred up, but boy, that made me really nervous. Maybe I need to do some more practicing before I talk to somebody like that. I'll go talk to Christine or my pastor or somebody. Or you might say, oh gosh, I joined this group and there were all these men and I really got to make friends. And then I said, what other things do you go to there where there's ladies? And they went, let's go do this. There's this sports bar and you have no idea. There's so many women that have been into soccer now. And you can go there and talk to them about the soccer game. To keep paying attention to how does your mind and your body react. Because I work with horses a lot, and horses are afraid of everything. They just think a plastic bag across the road is the most horrifying thing in the world. Even though they weigh 1,000 pounds, they think everything's terrifying. And the only way to have them not think things are terrifying is we have to desensitize them. So you bring this horrible, scary thing like a ball way over there and let them look at it from really far away for a couple of days. And then for a couple of days, you bring it closer till eventually they get to smell it. And pretty soon it's one of their favorite toys. So do the same thing with you. give yourself a break, that you're going to be kind of sensitive about talking to new women and participating in a new thing, especially if you're not really good at it right away, because I know you guys like being good. But just put yourself out there. If you have grandchildren, take them, or a dog. I got to tell you, ladies like kids and dogs. They will come up and talk to you like you're not even there. They'll talk to the dog or they'll talk to the kid. But you can now see, how am I doing with having this woman in my presence, within my 6 inches place where we all just stay with COVID. And how does it seem? Boy, it seems kind of nervous. Okay, I'm going to do this more so I'm not so nervous, so that the first time I open my mouth, I'm not going to go bleh, 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 bleh. Right? Because we're all going to do that in the beginning. We just need to give ourselves a break. Nobody's good at this in the beginning. Nobody just knows how to date. I don't know who passed that rumor, but it's a false. Nobody just knows how to do this. Nobody. I've never talked to anybody that was really good at this right away. But the thing that's really weird? We all know that we have to learn to play pickleball, and we have to learn to drive a car and use our computer and our phone. Really, we all know to get better. When you took up anything, you weren't great at it. Your job, your hobby, nothing. You're not good at it right away. So why people think they should just be good at dating right away, letting you off the hook. I'll write you all a note. No, you don't have to know this. And especially given where you are in your life right now. But everybody can learn. I've not met one person that was willing, boy, they have to be willing, that can't learn. And everybody that I've worked with, whatever level of relationship they wanted, they got in. I had 4 years in a row. It was so interesting. 22, 23, 24, 25. I had somebody show up in those years that wanted to get married. Because I said most people in our age group don't, but they wanted to get married. And all 4 of them are now married because that was their goal. So figuring out who you are today, what kind of things you might want today. I help people work that out because sometimes you don't even know. It's just the questions we talk about together. Then I'll tell you the next steps to do. But this is the best way to get started. Oh, you're so welcome. To get started, but people go, I want to put my toe in the water. But I want you to know what kind of pool. Do you want a lake? Do you want the ocean? Do you want a kiddie pool that you just want to put your feet in because they're tired? Okay. Do you want a big swimming pool to do laps? People tell me they don't know what they want. So when I say, if you went to the grocery store and I said, go buy me beans, there's canned, there's fresh, there's garbanzo, there's string beans. There's so many kinds of beans. I would need to be more specific about what kind of beans I wanted. So I need you to be a little more specific about, this is would make me feel useful. If I did this kind of a thing, if I built something or said something or wrote something, I'd feel useful about that. Just start there. What are you already doing that you could do more of? What's you already doing that you could do something similar? What's something completely different that you're not doing that you could do? Start there, because there's other people there to talk to. I am a huge believer in the apps. It's how I met my late husband, and it's what I'm using now as well. But I want you to do both. And in the beginning, when you're just going to do this baby part, just do in real life things without any expectation that anything more will happen, except you're going to learn new stuff about you and about other people. If you go with these 2 goals, what am I going to learn about myself when I go do this new thing? And what did I learn about the people there? You will never be disappointed. You will reach those goals. But we go, and 2 things, like especially to a singles thing, with this unrealistic, unattainable goal that I'm going to meet my person and I won't have to ever date again. And we're going to be happily ever after. And most people get really disappointed because the odds of that happening that first time is minuscule. So what I want you to do is have reasonable, attainable goals 100%. If you go to learn about you and to learn about the people there, you will never be disappointed. You will never not reach your goal. I can't stress this more. And when you do it that way enough times, you will then meet somebody that you want to spend time with. I don't know that it's your relationship forever. When I met my husband the first time for lunch, I had no idea he would turn into a husband. I was not physically attracted to him, but I was very intrigued and I really wanted to see him again. I at least wanted to see him one more time. And when I saw him the next time, I wanted to see him again. But it took a few months for me to become physically attracted to him. But he was so interesting and I loved how he treated me and I loved the questions he asked me and I loved the answers he gave me because I went doing this. I changed the way I started dating in 2001, and that's what happened to me. So that's why I teach it, because I was my first client. I'm living proof that doing it this way works. And people who try it the other way come to me going, yeah, that didn't work. I go, well, then go try this. Because you will feel successful over and over and over if you only go with these two goals. Because if you go expecting to meet somebody else, you're turning over your goal to a stranger. I think that's not a good idea. I think you need to stay totally in control of reaching your goals. And you can stay totally in control of reaching these goals. And they need to stay totally in control of learning about themselves and learning about you. I've recently, for the last couple of years, like year and a half, coached people that are going to go do speed dating events. And this is what I tell them. And they're having a much better time because you're not always going to meet your person. But they learned about them and they learned about a bunch to meet 10 people at the same time in like an hour. What a great desensitizing that is. And they get 10 different answers to ask the same question. That was kind of fast. They all went, oh, yeah, they did have really different answers. I know, because I talked to both sides. I don't talk to everybody. They don't all make appointments with me, even though they paid for it. Mostly the women who think they know more than me. But the people who coach with me come back going, oh my God, it was exactly like what you said. I said, well, yeah, I've been doing this a long time. And I wanted you to leave with a smile on your face instead of a big puss face because you didn't match with anybody. But look at the practice you got doing this new thing. And now you're going to be even better at it next time. So consider it practice, practice and patience. Those are the big words in dating nowadays. There's nothing that's a waste of time, money, energy, or words if you know how to do it in the most concise way. And that's what I teach. So does that give you sort of a place to think about starting for you people that want to start? Yeah? Did you have more questions about starting that I didn't answer yet? Because I have lots more answers.
Where do you go to speed date, Christy? They still do that? Is that still like a real thing?
It's a real thing. And she does them different age groups. She hardly ever does my age group. She generally gets up to about 50, but there's a few a little far for me that are my age group. But if it's run right, not everybody does it right because they think how hard would this be, which is what people think how hard could dating be, and there really is a structure to it. It's a very fun thing to do because you get a chance to talk to 10 people in an hour. If you wanted to learn how to play pickleball, you would want somebody that would really concentrate on you. That's why people hire coaches to teach you how to get that ball in that corner every time. And think how many times you have to practice to get the ball in that corner every time. So here I gave you instructions. Here's three things to tell them about you and ask them about them that you wouldn't even want to see them if they didn't have these things about them. And then you get to ask 10 people. Boomity boomity boom. It's like immersion, when you're learning a language or something, right? You move to another country and you're like, I can't even get groceries or know where the bathroom is, but I better learn these words. But if you go with the right attitude, I'm just here to learn. I'm here to learn about me and other people. And wow, look at all the answers I got and how comfortable finally at the end I got in saying, gosh, this is how I practice God in my life. This is the kind of church I belong to. And if this is really one of the most important things to you, and this is the most interesting sermon I've had lately, tell me how your religion is in your life or how you practice how you have God in your life. Because if that's one of the most important things, if this person's an atheist and they think people that go to church are the most stupid people in the world, you probably wouldn't want to see them again. But good to find that out right now and that you're getting clear about saying the thing that's important to you. If travel's important, if family's important, if education's important, these are the things that you learn when I'm working with you to say out loud to somebody. This is the kind of things I like spending my time doing. And I'm fine doing this by myself, and I'd love for you to cheer me on after, or I really am looking for a partner to do this part with me too. I have a client right now that she would really like a guy that plays golf every weekend and was gone for 4 hours so she could do her own thing and she'd go meet him on the 19th hole. So she tells him, I hope that you have a foursome and you're not looking to play with me. And most of the guys are like, yeah, I like having my guy time at golf. But there's a couple guys that she's met that like, no, they're looking for a golf partner. Well, that's not her. She doesn't even want to learn. So when you know who you are, and I love that you laugh about it because dating feels like brain surgery when people come to me and I go, no, it's supposed to be fun. I wanted it to be fun in 2001 and I achieved that. So my goal is to have everybody else have fun. It really is supposed to be fun. And often it takes only like 2 or 3 weeks and people come back, in our next call and they go, oh, it's fun. I go, oh, I know. It's the roadmap from here to there, and let's make sure you have a good time while you're doing it. It's not supposed to be terrible and horrible and awful, really. And if you're a fun person and you want to find a fun person, let's see if we can make this kind of fun. Because as you know, somebody that was married for any length of time, there's some crap that happens. Crap. My brother and sister-in-law have been married 50 years last January. So I've known him my whole life and her for 53 years. And boy, they've liked each other from the beginning. They've loved each other from the beginning, and all the stuff that's happened in 50 years, they still like each other a lot and can't wait to see it through the end of the day. But there's been hard things. So you need to start out liking them. You need to start out feeling like we got this good foundation. We're not going to build this relationship on sand because if you build your house on sand, that's not a good idea. So this is how you start out so that a different attitude. People don't know to have this attitude. And my job is to change your attitude of this could be fun, patience and persistence, be true to yourself, figure out first who you are, and tell it to the person, and then be open-minded to hear who they are first. And then say, yeah, that's working for me. Nope, not. I hope that that's helpful.
I'm seeing some
And
nodding and thumbs up, and I think
Mm.
that's great advice, Christine.
So my goal, my really biggest goal is to have people at the end of any time I get to speak with them to say, oh, I never thought about it like that. Even if it doesn't change your mind. Because if it doesn't change your mind, you're going to be even more solid with why you believe different than what I say. Instead of, why do I believe that? I need to figure out why I believe that because it's so different than her. And if you really do believe it, then come up with a really good reason. Because I have a really good reason for all the things I believe. But I'm open to hearing other people's opinions. And there's very few times when I go, yeah, I thought about it that way. I could do that different. And then I'll go, oh my God, I never thought about that way. And it's made me even more sure about what it is I believe that I wouldn't change my mind. So because I've been studying this for almost 40 years, it's really getting close to 40 years now. And you all know way more than I know about what you do in your life. So I'm open to people teaching me about them, but this is really what I need to teach all of you because you don't know. And you've had your heart broken, smashed to smithereens. I don't want it to happen again. I want to help you get a nice foundation so that when you get into another relationship, if that's really what you want another forever person till the two of you don't wake up someday, that you can have the tools to navigate it as all that stuff happens, because it just happens. But to start out with this great foundation and the things that I tell people to do, even when you're just having these casual conversations, much less when you're starting to get serious with somebody, is the things that you're going to keep doing forever, hopefully. That's my intention, that you don't just oh, I have a QR code. How cool is that? I don't even know how to do that, make one. So I'm even feeling more impressed that you now have these tools to keep using, that you keep dating each other, that you keep increasing your knowledge. That my brother and sister-in-law they've run a company together for 45 years and they've had other similar things, but they have these really different things that they go off and do that have evolved over the years, and they come back and can't wait to talk about it at the end of the day. And if that's who you are, then you need to find somebody that has that too. Or if you're the attached to the hip person, you need to find somebody else that's attached to the hip person. And the only way you know all this is if you say, this is who I am. What do you think? Tell me who you are. I'll tell you what I think. Because I kept saying all the things to my late husband. Well, these are the kind of things people have complained about before. And he goes, yeah, and, or wow, I really like that. It's like, whoa, this is the kind of guy for me.
Well, I think you summed it up well, Christine. Patience and practice. And I've learned another thing listening to you all these months is just take it slow. There's no there's no right or wrong. It just takes time, and it's okay if you accept that. You're just patient. Things tend to work out. But the practice part is where you really come in and can really provide that level of understanding and confidence to do it right so that their hearts don't get broken and they don't break somebody else's. So
And the
um,
going slowly as you're getting to know somebody, because I have people that you just go by the numbers. There's certain things you need to find out if they even get to be have an emotional investment from you of a one. And then there's another level of things for them to have an emotional investment of a two. Because married, widowed people, people that were married a long time that are widowed, you just want to jump in. You just want to be a husband again. You just want to be a wife again. And you can't. I'm so sorry. I'm going to tell you, no, you can't do that right away. It's not healthy for either one of you because you don't know enough about each other. You need to go through the numbers. You can't skip from 0 to 35 because they're so darn cute and you're lonely and you really miss having somebody. It never, I've heard so many stories. It doesn't work out. You can get there faster if you really are willing and brave to ask all those really challenging people the hard questions. Have at it. But most people go a little slower, so go slower. If the right person, my husband was so patient with me. He was kind of an impatient guy in that way. He was a very patient guy, but he wasn't patient about what he really wanted. He was used to getting stuff right away. And I said, yeah, no, I'd started doing this by the numbers thing. And he went, okay. He decided I was worth it. And I was. I was a good third wife.
and you've been a great guest tonight, as always. I want to bring our conversation to a close, and I want to thank Christine for being here, for sharing her time and insight and her experiences and all of her knowledge with us. Thank you for everyone who joined us tonight. Your
Thank you.
presence, your questions, your willingness to engage and be vulnerable, right, is what makes this a special time for everyone who joins us.
Thank
A
you.
reminder that these events take place every month. You can find out about them on our website or in the monthly newsletter that comes out at the beginning of every month. And just a reminder, you'll receive a survey. If you liked what you heard, if you want to give us some feedback, that's the time to do it. And until then, and I mentioned that along with that same email with the survey will be a link to the video if you want to revisit any parts of tonight's conversation. So take good care of yourselves, and remember, you don't have to navigate this journey alone. That's what WSN Men Live is all about, as well as the other programming that we provide. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you,
And
everyone.
reach out to me if you have more questions or you wanted more information about what I just said tonight. Happy to answer. Send me an email
Absolutely.
or sign up
I'll
for.
leave this screen up if you guys want to do a screenshot or grab the scan. I'll leave the screen up, okay? And again, thank you very much. Good night.
Thanks. Bye. That is so cool.